Good afternoon. I'm Howard Glazer, Director of Operations for the State of New York. This afternoon I'm going to be hearing from Kevin Burke, the CEO of Con Ed, Mike Langford, President of the Utility Workers of America, and Governor Cuomo. We're very pleased to announce earlier today that at the Governor's request, Con Ed and the union have agreed that workers will immediately return to work to prepare for potential severe weather that's expected in the state today and to stay for the duration of any storm-related emergency response. And with that, we'll hear some additional detail.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank the governor for bringing me together with the union officials from the Utility Workers of America, Mike Langford and Harry Farrell, to come to this agreement. Con Edison and its union employees have been dedicated for years to try and provide the best service they can to New Yorkers. We have a storm coming. We always want to provide that best service, and I'm glad to hear that the really skilled and dedicated employees who are our employees and members of Local 1-2, the utility workers, are going to come back, make sure that people get the service that they expect. We'll get the lights back on, and we'll continue working. Thank you.
Hi, I would also like to applaud the governor for bringing us all together to provide the services that are so deeply needed in the city of New York. Our number one priority is utility workers who are first responders out there, and especially in times like this, is the public. That is our number one goal. Our number one priority is to make sure that everybody has reliable, safe electric, gas, and water. That's our number one priority. And again, I'm glad that we were able to reach this agreement. We're going to work hard to finish this agreement throughout the course of the day to get everybody back to work. So therefore, thank you all. I am National President of the Utility Workers Union of America. My name is Mike Langford. That's Langford.
My name, Marshal, is Andrew Cuomo, Cuomo. Thank you all for coming, especially on short notice. I'd like to thank Howard Glazer, the Director of State Operations, and Kevin Burke, the head of Con Edison, and Mike Langford, who you just heard from, and Harry Farrell, from the utility workers unions. As you know and as you've heard, there are storms threatening New York State, and the state has implemented its emergency management operations. Jerry Hauer, the head of emergency operations for the state of New York, is running the operation out of Albany. The storms also threaten the New York City area. New York City poses a special threat and a special challenge because of Con Ed's current labor situation. And the combination of a possible storm and the labor situation at Con Ed was obviously a dangerous combination. We don't want to see a storm hit New York, down power lines, et cetera, and Con Ed not be at their maximum capacity. That potential danger has been averted, thanks to the gentlemen who are with me here today. The union and Con Ed have agreed that the necessary workers will go back to work immediately. So whatever has to be done, whatever preventive measures and precautions have to be put in place will be put in place. The workers will remain if there is a storm and there's work to do. The workers will remain after the storm if there is damage to repair. In the meantime, we will continue to work on the contract, and contract negotiations will be ongoing. But what Con Ed and the union are saying to you today is the workers will come back immediately because what is paramount is the safety of New Yorkers and the service that the workers in Con Edison provide. And they want to make sure that is uninterrupted, and they're doing everything they have to do to protect New Yorkers. So I applaud them for that. This is a great demonstration of the New York spirit, which is that we can have differences and we can have items of discussion, but when a problem is posed, New Yorkers come together, and that's exactly what you see here. Differences are going to be put aside, and New Yorkers are coming together. I applaud once again Con Edison and their leadership, Kevin Burke, who's here, and the utility workers, Mike Langford and Harry Farrell. I thank them very much for for understanding that the safety of New Yorkers comes first, and for putting aside temporarily their issues for the benefit of New Yorkers.
Governor, let me ask you first of all, and also Mr. Farrell, because we didn't have a chance to hear from you earlier, the same question. Does this pretend that maybe there's light at the end of the tunnel for negotiations, that things are going well?
Well, look, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, right? The question is, how long is the tunnel, right? We are cautiously optimistic about the overall resolution. And we'll continue to work on the overall resolution. And I've asked the Public Service Commission, as you know, to work with the parties. We had a conversation this morning. Members of my team will continue to have conversations. So we're hopeful that we have an expeditious overall resolution. That's what we're all working for. But what they're saying to you today is they understand the immediacy and the potential danger that's posed immediately, and they're going to put their differences aside to make sure they're providing the service that Con Ed and the employees need to provide for New Yorkers. And I think that's to be applauded. Mr. Farrell, do you want to make a comment?
Just to answer your question, you know, the governor has asked us to put our differences aside, which we were able to do. And I think that shows some great resolve. We respect the governor's wishes. What our concern is for the citizens of the state of New York, and especially for those in the city of New York. If this storm hits the way everyone is predicting, we're going to be in trouble. And my guys are going to go back to work, and they're going to do what they have to do, as they always do, to restore outage and to make sure that everybody in the city is safe. Thank you.
And then how will it be decided whether you remain on the job after that?
Well,
At the moment, what's the plan?
The plan is that the workers will come back immediately. They'll do whatever preparations have to be done, whatever preventive work has to be done. They will then, if the storm does in fact hit, and if the storm is problematic, they will work through the storm. If the storm hits and the storm causes damage, Melissa, they will stay and repair the damage. So whatever is entailed with the preparation for the storm, and post-storm, the workers will be there. Correct?
Can you tell us how many workers are going to be and what else you're doing to prepare?
Approximately 3,000 workers.
And what else you're doing to prepare?
The state has a statewide emergency management operation plan that's being put into effect, and we'll make adjustments as we get more information as the day goes on. Right now, the storm is forecast to hit the southern part of the state, southern tier of the state of New York, and the New York City area. And we'll have more information as the day goes on. I would also take this opportunity to caution all New Yorkers, all across the state, you have travel plans, monitor the weather reports, especially carefully, and if you have to make adjustments, make adjustments.
One more, guys.
There's been some extreme weather throughout this lockout. Why I know this is a particularly predicted to be a particularly harsh storm, but why?
This is the most extreme, because this is the most extreme weather that's been forecast.
And so the lockout will then resume after?
Yes, sir.
After the storm. Would you encourage the workers and the management to continue working while they negotiate after the storm passes?
I will, first, I'm hopeful, and I encourage a expeditious resolution. And we're going to walk out of this room, and people are going to continue to work on the contract. Again, we're making preparations for today, but we're trying to work on the contract to get an expeditious overall global resolution as soon as possible.
Just to clarify, because maybe my question wasn't clear before, I think the question is, what have you agreed on, if anything, about what will happen after any power outages have
After the
taken
storm.
place? Right, after the storm, after the cleanup, after people are back up and running. Are you anticipating that the lockout will go back into effect?
Yes, 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 is the specific response. At the same time, we're going to be working on resolving the overall contract dispute. So hopefully, if we get the overall contract dispute done, then obviously everybody goes to work under the normal circumstances.
Can I just clarify the number of workers involved in this? Because all along, it's been, everybody said that there are 8,000 Con Ed workers who were out in this
one of
lockout,
you guys?
how many will be actually going back to work of that 8,000?
We're inviting back 3,000 of the 8,000, and these are the 3,000 who work on the electric distribution system. So in addition to the 3,000, there are, a number of other, 5,000 other, very dedicated and, critical employees to operating other parts of the system. But these storms generally hit the electric distribution system. So those people have been invited back to work.
You know, is this going to be in addition to the contractors, the outside contractors that you've brought in to help remove
When-
trees and all that other stuff, the ones that have come from all around the country?
When we have big storms, we always invite, people from other utilities and other contractors. So depending upon this storm, those contractors would continue to, and we'd invite people from other utilities too, if they can help out.
So the 5,000 that are not being invited back, are they technically still locked out?
Yes.
And is that because they just do different kind of work, like gas or steam and not electricity? Is that the?
Yeah, they do different kinds of work, so some of them would work in the steam plant, some of them would work on the steam distribution system. But generally, when you have a storm, like a large thunderstorm, a large overhead storm, it generally hits the critical electric distribution system. Doesn't have an impact on the steam distribution system, for example.
Why is it important to resume the lockout now that people are coming back?
I think our hope, and I think the governor was pretty clear on this, is that we really want to keep working and trying to resolve the contractual issues as quickly as we can. And that's going to be the focus and the thought.
Kevin, can you just tell us what your particular concerns are in terms of the vulnerability of the system as the storm approaches? I mean, is it the overhead areas with overhead wires? What are your concerns?
Typically, when we have, a thunderstorm, and this is a thunderstorm that they said could even produce perhaps, heavy hail or tornadoes, the concern is the overhead distribution system. Trees come down, they impact our distribution lines and, take service out to people. And that's what we want to do. We want to be able to make sure those people get back to work as
You have
quickly
a
as possible.
young man back there who's been very patient.
Oh, yes, they're
Kevin.
very patient, very patient.
Governor, could you give us
So much for that.
the nuts and bolts of how you brought this about? You pick up the phone and what did you say? What were the reactions? And that's
I picked up the telephone, and I asked the gentleman if they could join me this morning. They'd be willing to join me in the governor's office, that given the situation and the immediacy of the situation, I wanted to have a conversation. And we had a conversation. We talked about the problem, and we fashioned this solution jointly, amicably, and quickly, I would say.
Governor, how much of a role you have going forward? I know you've monitored this whole thing right from the very beginning. Will you be at the table or someone of your representatives?
My representatives will be at the table, and I will be at the table as needed. Okay? Thank you all very much. Thank you.